Hi, everyone. I am delighted to be back hosting the extraordinary everyday International Women's Year videos. So successful were the ones that we did to celebrate the day in March that I was asked to include more extraordinary women to talk about challenges, overcoming them, and achievements. And I am thrilled today to talk to the amazing Cheryl Cole. Cheryl has interviewed me. She's a pretty well-known journalist and someone who has an entire career focused on the benefits, the power of inclusion and diversity. So I'm going to hand over to Cheryl to introduce herself, and then we're going to go through the questions together. Cheryl.
Hi, Harriet. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. I feel really proud. Thank you for inviting me along to speak with you today. So I'm Cheryl Cole. I'm the editor of a platform called DiversityQ, and we primarily promote best practice inclusion and diversity practices within the workplace. So we're there to help guide, we're here to share best practice, we're here to share knowledge from other firms, anything you want to know about what you should or shouldn't be doing, please have a look at DiversityQ. So I've been a journalist now for, 20 odd years. Before that, I was a qualified optician, and that's a whole story in itself, how I got to transition between the two. But I'm really enjoying what I'm doing right now. Proud to be doing what I'm doing right now. Proud to be helping others improve on their inclusion and diversity journey. And it's something that I'm strongly passionate about and will keep driving forward.
Fantastic. As I think you can tell, Cheryl and I have many things in common, not least our love of amazing glasses. She has the edge on me as the optician. But we'll have to sometime share the contents of our glasses drawer because I love them too, and I particularly love yours today. So let's start, Cheryl, with a little bit about some challenges that you have personally experienced in your life and your career.
Yes, so when I thought about this, I thought there's a lot, but what I think the biggest one for me is battling the two sides of my personality. And what I mean by that is, believe it or not, given the job I do, I'm a self-confessed introvert. I'm really shy. So it becomes a challenge because sometimes I think, although my voice is not being heard, even though I'm confident in my abilities, I just feel as though because I'm not loud and out there and extroverted, I can sometimes be the person in the room that gets overlooked. So that's led to a lot of internal frustrations, a lot of missed opportunities, a lot of angst. And it's something I've really had to work on over the years. And as I've gotten older, I've actually understood it better. And I think what it stems from is when I was a child, I was painfully shy, as I said. And I also came from a traditional West Indian family where children were seen but not heard. So you couldn't get involved in other people's conversations. You just sat quietly and did your own thing. And also, I brought up as an only child. So I didn't have any brothers and sisters to be vocal with and run around with. So I spent a lot of time in my own head, entertaining myself, creating my own stories, etc. And it wasn't really until I was a teenager that I found my own voice when I took up acting. A friend just dragged me along one day and I actually loved it. Then my confidence was knocked again when I told my careers advisor that I wanted to study journalism. And they turned around and said it wasn't a career for someone like me. And what they meant by that, it wasn't a career for a young Black girl from an underprivileged part of North London who didn't have any contacts in the area, didn't have any knowledge of the area, etc. But at the time, I didn't really know what it meant, but I thought, oh, but I love writing. Why can't I be a journalist? And they were like, no, it's not for someone like you. But I'm really good at it. No, it's not for someone like you. So I thought, okay, I'll go and study to be an optician. So I spent 5 years being an optician, and having to speak to people every day really brought me out of my shell. But I found it really exhausting, because naturally as an introvert, all I wanted to do was curl up in my own creative corner. Right. I found myself having to speak to people all day long, be happy, be joyful, be encouraging, all the rest of it. I gave it up. I said, I can't do this anymore. I have to follow my passion. But I still got told, no, you shouldn't do this. You're in a brilliant career. Stick with that. It's not for you. You know, who do you know? Who's going to introduce you? Blah, blah, blah. I stuck by my guns and I went off and studied journalism. And I was fortunate enough to find 2 male peers in my career who have really helped me along in that field. But it's been tough because as an introvert, using all the energy to push yourself out there is really, really hard work and exhausting, as you can imagine. Yeah. But also a field that I was so passionate about that I just strove and worked as hard as I could to craft this career path. So I think that's been my biggest challenge, being a true introvert.
So thank you, Cheryl. As well as tenacity, determination, you know, great focus, what else do you think has helped you overcome those challenges? You seem to have a purpose, a strong sense of being. Is there anything that you could share with others who watch this with absolute delight that might be able to help them?
Yeah, I think it's being confident in myself, and that doesn't come easy. It's taken me a long while to be confident in my own skin. Even in my own family, we're very different. There's some of us who like to do certain things, and I'm the quiet one, and I like to do something else, and I'm seen as this slightly outcast one. So it's just being comfortable and saying, hang on, no, I'm okay to be me. It's okay to like this kind of music and not your music. It's okay to talk this way and not that way. It's okay to wear this, you know, funky glasses or not. This is just who I am. And I think it's learning to be comfortable in your own skin. And I also have spent a lot of time studying to make sure that I know what I'm talking about. I know my field and my craft. And I also been studying people and environment to know how to present myself in certain situations, because sometimes you can walk into a room and everyone's like, you know, what's she doing here? She shouldn't be in that room. And I'm talking about in the early days of my journalism, where I was probably the only woman and the only Black person in the room. And they'll be often thinking, you know, what's she doing here? You know, especially if I went along to, say, an AGM, for example, or a financial results day or something. You know, the financial sector is very elitist, as you know, and you walk in and they'll be like, what's she doing there? So it's being comfortable, knowing what you're there to do, knowing your purpose, knowing your craft, and just really, really be comfortable in your own skin.
It's absolutely fabulous advice, and the way that you express it and the warmth and just humanness of the funky glasses and the determination. I think this is going to be very inspiring. So, Cheryl, I think so many people listening want to hear about your achievements. You've obviously achieved so much, but tell us what you're most proud of and why.
Yeah, and I just want to follow that up with a comment, with something from my last answer, which was that what's helped me achieve and succeed is making sure that I brought my whole self into the workplace. And by that, I mean being a woman and also being a woman of colour. A lot of the time, you'll find that women try to emulate being men, or women or people of colour leave their colour at the door when they go into the workplace. But I think what's helped me succeed is that I brought both of those into the workplace with me, because I think if I don't and I try to be a man, I'm treated as a man. And when another woman or another person comes into the workplace, they then become an issue because I haven't been my authentic self. So I'd encourage every woman out there, every person of colour, just be yourself, bring it to the workplace, help thrive, and I think it will help others thrive and be recognised too. And I think that's what's helped me succeed as a journalist. I think that's something I'm really, really proud of, because journalism has allowed me to travel the world. It's allowed me to meet some fantastic people, be in some really interesting situations. It's also allowed me to mentor some younger people from different backgrounds as well, which has taught me a lot. And I hope that by mentoring people from different backgrounds, they've also learned a lot about how it is to to interact with people from different demographics as well. That's something I'm really proud of. And also really proud of recently being asked to be chair of a platform called Candidate X, which is a community-driven movement focused on the acceleration of equality and diversity in the workplace. So that's, yeah, also what I'm really, really proud of at the moment.
Absolutely fantastic, Cheryl. You're a role model in so many senses. We share so much in common. As my whole career, I've been driving for everyone to be able to bring 200% of themselves to work. But in your mentoring, in a new chairmanship role, I think what you have to say, the way you say it, and the confidence in yourself, it's inspiring to me. And I know it will be to so many other people. So a very, very big thank you. We'll look out for the new platform and look forward to being interviewed or interviewing you again in the not too distant future. Cheryl Cole, thank you.
Thank you, Harriet.